Mabuhay! I'm Rema and welcome to my art space. And here we go again in another episode where I'm going to make not just one painting but two paintings because there are twins. And you will see what I'm talking about if you stay with me in this video and see the whole process that I've got through. This is not the painting that I'm talking about. It's a different painting. The paintings that I was talking about, their inspiration came from when I was working at a cafe because I do remote work. It is here where I saw the picture of a ballet dancer. And while looking at the picture, suddenly I heard dun, 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 dun. If you know that, that's Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. And I'm sure you're familiar with Swan Lake, where we have the main character Odette and she has a counterpart called Odile. So Odette and Odile were already an inspiration for many paintings, artworks, because they are a picture of good and evil. So you know who's good, that's Odette, and Odile, well, she's considered as her counterpart even when it comes to value or virtue. I thought of painting Odette and Odile in separate paintings, but they have a different twist and they would be wearing Filipiniana. If you are not Filipino and you do not know what Filipiniana is, it's actually our national costume. What I did was that I took out some of my mother's Filipiniana costume because I needed a reference of the design of the Filipiniana, of what Odette and Odile should wear. And because I wanted them to be Filipina. If you're wondering where these costumes came from, actually, my mother had worn this during special occasions because she used to be a teacher or a public school teacher. Whenever they had events, like school programs or, for example, dancing programs, because it's, of course, arts and culture should be part of schools, right? Or she would lead the choir because my mom was a music teacher. She would wear these Filipiniana dresses. And I use them as the reference for my model, which is again
myself.
I am my own muse. So what I did was that I wore the pink one for my model for Odette and the green one, which is a darker color, for my model for Odile. As usual, I used acrylic paints to make my paintings. Well, I started with my Odette. If you're not familiar with Swan Lake, it's actually a ballet music composed by Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky. I hope I got his name right. He's a Russian composer, by the way, so it's hard for me to mention Russian names. Anyway, this music is based on a fairy tale about Odette, who was cursed to become a swan by an evil sorcerer. I guess because she didn't want to marry him. Maybe he's too old to marry her. Ew! Like, why do these dirty old men want to prey on younger women? Anyway, so there's this prince that fell in love with Odette, and that's where the story revolved. For this painting, I first started with my Odette. And of course, Odette being a symbol of purity, kindness, and goodness, who's been wronged by some old pervert. I thought that she should wear something white. And it's not only white, it's white Filipiniana. I wanted to put a lot of symbols of everything Filipino in it. I thought that by making this painting, I had to retain the very spirit of Odette in this painting, even though it's in Filipiniana version, even though that she's wearing Filipiniana, and even though she's very Filipino like me because I was the model of the painting. Although there are elements that she should still wear, like a feathery dress as a symbol of the swan that she became, she should be surrounded with flowers. And these flowers should be made of, I thought of sampaguita. Sampaguita is sort of like a white jasmine that is native here in the Philippines. I don't know if it's also native in other Southeast Asian nations, but yes, in the Philippines, sampaguita is a native flower. So if you're not familiar with sampaguita, I could describe that they have a sweet smell. I put the background for the Swan Lake. She should be there at night. Therefore, I added the moon in the painting. And that's therefore because I wanted her that even though it's night, even though she's going through like this curse and all the evil stuff that the evil, ugly magician made her, darn, she's still beautiful even in night. And the night is just a test that would pass by and turn into morning. If you also notice, my Odette was not standing in the middle of the picture. By the way, the size of my portrait is 18 by 18. So she wasn't standing in the middle of the picture. I wanted her to have like a rule of thirds in that portrait wherein she seemed to be looking at the other side. That's because the other side is, you know who? It would be Odile. In every good, there's evil, and in every light, there's darkness. That's how I should describe my other side of the paint. So Odile, if you're also familiar with her story, is the counterpart of Odette. In Swan Lake, if I would remember very well, she's actually the daughter of that evil sorcerer. Like, my gosh, she's using his own daughter. He wanted to prey on another young girl and using his own daughter. Ah! So this Odile, I think some other versions are like that. Her father used her to be like a trap for the prince. Whoever Odile is, or whoever she was in the story, if she's the evil sorcerer's daughter or whatever, the very purpose of her being there in the story is to be a trap for the prince who fell in love with Odette. Odile was actually magically turned into Odette's lookalike. I think the reason that she was there was because only a true love's confession or a true love's kiss could break Odette's curse. And Odile was there to be a distraction for the prince. So he would mistaken her as his Odette. And so, therefore, the curse would not break. Because Odile was used for very dark purposes in the story. Therefore, I portrayed her in more sinister colors. While Odette was wearing white in my painting, I wanted Odile to wear something black. So I looked up for every black-colored Filipiniana in the internet, and yeah, somehow nothing in the internet matched what's in my head, so I had to design my own. But I don't want her to wear something entirely black. Now, I wanted these paintings to complement each other. So if Odette has her own flowers in the painting, Odile should also have her own flowers. The flowers that I've chosen for Odile is the gumamela or the hibiscus. Actually, the gumamela is also a native here in the Philippines. I remember when I was a kid, we would use that for making bubbles. We would crush the leaves of the gumamela and then play them into bubbles. You know, the bubble stuff. I don't know if your game is the same as ours as kids. Anyway, so I added hibiscus or the gumamela as Odile's flowers. I made them deep dark red. Usually, gumamelas have a pinkish or light red color here in many homes in the Philippines. But here, because Odile is a more sinister character, I made the colors of her flowers deep dark red. But I did not make Odile's costume totally black because I wanted some trinkets or some other contrasting color that would make her stand out in the twilight. Oh, by the way, Odile's background is actually twilight. So that's the time when the sun was getting down and it's totally red. I chose dark colors for Odile because that's exactly I wanted to portray her as an opposite of Odette. Well, aside that, obviously, she's the evil side. I wanted her to have this personality, this sort of like, well, not really mischievous, but more of snarky and arrogant personality. Like, I'm ahead of you, girl. And because it complements with Odette, she has to look at the side of where Odette was. And if you would see the expression on her face, she is a bit snarky, right? And she's looking at Odette like, I'm better than you. I really made it obvious for their expressions to be different from one another because I wanted to show that they have totally different personalities. And that's the very purpose of my painting, which is actually showcased in an exhibit lately. The real purpose that I made these paintings is because of this exhibit. Like, we were required to have like two 18 by 18 pieces, and I chose a twin painting theme because what to do if you have to make two pieces, and my idea was like to have them complement with each other. This exhibit was actually held at the Royal Cafe in Intramuros. This exhibit was not really like a loud exhibit like we would do at galleries where we would have like a bombastic opening. No, we didn't. We just have a soft opening where the very purpose of this is that we're hoping that we can secure buyers. We heard that this cafe have had foreign buyers who are serious art collectors. You might say it's like a big chance for artists to get their works known in places like this. So I have been in the art industry for I think around 3 years. Although I'm still a newbie, I'm able to see like the business and the marketing side of art. Seriously, as a newbie artist, I am glad to be exposed with the different experiences we've had in the art world, especially when it comes to showing our works, introducing ourselves, and hoping that we'd get clients and buyers. Anyway, that's all for today. And yeah, if ever you pass by the Royal Cafe in Intramuros, please do come until June 11, 2026 because that's the time that the exhibit ends. And I hope you also consider buying our paintings. Thank you so much for watching Rema's Art Space for now. And if you do like this video, please click the like button. And if you're here at my channel for the first time, please subscribe and also click the bell button so you'd be notified of future videos from me. Again, my name is Rema and I hope to see you again in the next Art Space. Bye! Hi, my gosh, do I have to explain the history of the Spanish regime in the Philippines? Anyway, I have no time for that, but don't laugh because I don't have any other model, okay? I'm my only model. In every good, there's evil, and also you get it if paalam, au revoir, sayonara, annyeong. Bye.